Yeah, Wednesday. What's up, everybody? Wednesday morning. Welcome to today's edition, Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had a great Tuesday, as we're going to do what we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in our morning market commentary. We're going to look at our four major markets, the S&P, Nasdaq, crude oil, and gold, and try to find any potential opportunities, as well as our stock of the day. Now, today we're not going to look just at a stock of the day. We're going to look at the FANG stocks and take a look and see what are they doing relative to the other markets, as we've seen some pretty strong movers now that the Nasdaq has become a leader in our movement. So let's go ahead and first start with the big picture. So starting first with the big picture here, looking at the S&P, which is our major market, we did see a break above the all-time high that we had established last week. Popped up above there. Didn't really get great basing for a breakout, but we did pop above. Was really hoping for that basing to give us that breakout entry. If you took the entry, you got a little run out of it, and then it kind of stalled. I will say that yesterday we did get what I like to call a whoop whoop, as the markets gave us a quick move down and a very quick move back up to erase everything that had come out prior. And then in the overnight, we have come back down into our little level of demand and gotten a little move away from that area. So if you took the long off of this area of demand, if you happen to be in the overnight, or maybe you're trading across the pond, which isn't your overnight, but it's right around the London Open that we hit that entry, we did see a decent move away. Now, I will say that I'm a little bit concerned with the fact that while we did get a decent move away, and that was a pretty good fair price value area, as it was a prior area of resistance, we are seeing that level has a little bit of some upper wicks, and some upper wicks tell me that there's oftentimes going to be a little bit of selling pressure inside of those candlesticks. So I need to be a little cautious of that, knowing that those upper wicks do tell me that there's some selling pressure in here. So as far as today goes, I really just don't have a whole lot to lean on. I don't have any quality supply. I'm certainly not going to be looking to sell in this market, right? But I also don't have any great demand super close. I think you've got decent demand right down here at this 43.34, but that's pretty far from current price. So what you might want to do is look for an intraday opportunity to give you some sort of a breakout play, either long or short. If I do look at this on the 15-minute chart, there is this little tiny wick over wick level here that is a potential entry. It's what we call a noisy cricket with a wick over wick on a 15-minute chart. That's my noisy cricket. And a nice little level right here. But the problem is those are both, while the structure is sound, they're both right below the all-time high. So if you're willing to take those, there is an opportunity there for a short. I would say that you might get a little bit of basing below the Globex low, but then that really sets up for a bear trap with a little demand area down below there. So in reality, I just don't think it's a great day to force a trade, wait for a level to set up and show you that it's there. Looking at the Nasdaq, very similar picture. Nasdaq, we had this little area of demand, got a really nice bounce off of that level. And then in our yesterday, what we talked about, our whoop whoop, we almost came back to this hourly level a second time. So at this point, that level's been hit twice, so I need to remove that area. And my next quality area of demand is down here at 14,718. Now, we did come to a new all-time high yesterday as the Nasdaq rallied up early in the morning before then selling off in the afternoon. And so now we are below the all-time high yet again. I say that the Nasdaq looks a little stronger than the S&P this morning, as we are up 53 points in the Nasdaq. You do have a cleaner area of demand right here in the Nasdaq on a 15-minute chart. Not as clean in the S&P, but it is a little bit cleaner in the Nasdaq. Looking at crude oil. So looking at crude, we had a little breakout set up in crude. Unfortunately, no true basing to give us an entry in that position. A little bit of an area of demand down here that we've bounced off of and rallied back up. As just in the last hourly candlestick, we've seen a lot of market movement. So, you know, crude oil to me is a little bit like our equity markets in that I don't want to force anything that's not there. Now, we do have this wick over wick level here, but we came close to it, and we're in the context of an uptrend. So I'm going to remove that level and just leave this one here. So I've got a fairly wide zone right now that crude oil is just kind of hanging around inside. For those of you that are more, that look into options, you may be able to get a little bit of an iron condor that expires in just a few days in between those regions. But as far as directional trading, there's just not a whole lot out there for today. And then gold, shocker, similar picture. Not a lot of great opportunities, not a lot of great setups in gold today. When I go down to like the 15-minute chart, this to me was the best little entry, this little rally-based rally. We came back and retested that in the overnight. And so I don't necessarily want to try that one again since it was an overnight level that's already been hit. This area here might serve for a little reversal point because it was a prior resistance area in the past. Now, my only downside of this is that we rallied up out of this with this long wick and then came back down into it right here. And so it's not the freshest of areas, but I think it is, of all the levels, probably, the one it's close to entry currently, and it's got a very small amount of risk. So, not a whole lot to do, frankly. So just keep an eye on those levels for today. Let's take a look really quick at our stock of the day. And our stock of the day, we're going to talk about the FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Netflix. So in looking at these four, these are they're the four biggies, right? Everybody seems to trade them. Let me put these on daily charts. Although they're not as sexy in names anymore as GameStop and AMC and Tesla, they are still the bellwethers that are moving the market. And if you look at Apple, ever since Apple hit this breakout trade above 130, now we've seen Apple really start to take off. And that's been a really, really strong runner over the last few weeks. And Apple's sitting now at an all-time high. Now, we are coming up on earnings. So keep an eye out for a pullback in Apple to this area right in here. Looking at Facebook also a recent breakout trade. Not as clean on a pullback area, but earnings coming up on this one as well on the 27th. Microsoft, another one, breakout trade above this 262. If there is a pullback of note, I think your pullback of note would be this area right here at 271. Amazon recently also gave us the breakout, and the breakout line right there at 3,500. Big move up above that level. I don't know that there's a good area of demand before the breakout, but I'd look here at about 3,450. And then Google, haven't really done as much trading in Google. Wasn't quite as clean on the breakout side. On a pullback, you've got whole round number support there at about 2,500. Right there at 2,500. Also earnings on the 27th. And then Netflix. Netflix, we had talked about a potential breakdown below this yellow line. Never got there. And we had a reversal at this $500. Never came back to there. Now we are sitting just below a potential area here of supply with this line, but we're basing in front of the level. So with the basing happening in front of the level, you could theoretically look to a breakout above 546, knowing that I've got earnings coming up on the 20th, so fairly close to earnings. So my point behind that is none of those look bearish, right? They're all on the bullish side. Netflix is probably the least bullish, but it's still got a little bit more upside potential in it. So that tells me that my big picture markets are also going to probably continue in that path. And so I need to just continue to focus on those opportunities as they show up. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a phenomenal trading day. Until tomorrow, everybody, I will talk to you soon. See ya. Hey, thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the only way the computers know that you're actually alive and really care. And go to tradersarmy.com today to learn a bit more. And if you want to see some of our other videos, click here in the box.